Hey guys, it's Zach from the Con channel, and in this video I'm going to show you how to explore the Vox Relay Station in Outer Worlds 2. Now after infiltrating the Vox Relay Station, the next step is to explore the Vox Relay Station. So in this video I'm going to show you exactly how you can go about doing that. Now you're going to come into this room. Now I recommend heading to the vendor and buying all the supplies you'll need, as it gets quite hectic in this place, and there's also a workbench if you need to craft or do anything with the workbench. But once you're ready, you're going to come over to this guy and he's going to then talk to you. Now there are multiple ways of going to this dialogue, but the option I chose was to lie with my speech 2. I then went with the speech 3 option, which is the last option. And once you do that, he's actually going to help you on your mission. Now there is another option to fight and kill the guy you just spoke to, but I prefer to avoid the fights as this place has quite high level enemies. But he said head over to the right, so which is this door. But if you actually examine this little wall, you'll actually get a little bit more information that will give you more hints for this mission. Now, the enemies will still attack you, although he is on your side, so we're going to actually sneak past all the enemies. The first part is going to be over here. Now, I recommend just walking through and avoiding them, as like I said, the enemies are quite high level, but you're going to then make it into this area. You'll see that once we get inside, he's going to just spot us for a brief moment, but once we keep on going, and then you can just continue like that, because he's obviously now going to search the vent. Now this is all about patience, because the enemies, like I said, do have this weird thing of how they spot you, but you can pretty much avoid them pretty easily. So once you've done that, you're going to come around this corner and you're going to come into this room. Now there are going to be quite a few enemies in here as well, but once again, you're just going to have to be sneaky about it. Now there are pretty simple ways of hiding from the enemy, like I'm literally hiding behind this chair and they're not spotting me. But if they do end up finding you, what you can always do is just run and hide again, as Niles and your teammates will actually just end up distracting them. You just have to wait for the enemy attention bar to go down, and then once it's down, you'll see that you're no longer in combat. All the enemies would have exited the room, and now you can actually get the information you need on this computer. Now what you need to do is just go through all of the options right over here, and once you do so, you can then return back to where you need to go, and it's actually going to show you that you need to come over here and get this Vox Relay uninitialized keycard. After doing so, you're going to then climb up the vent just to avoid the enemies once again, and then you're going to just keep following along through. Once you exit out the vent, you're just going to keep following along through, as it's pretty straightforward. And don't forget to pick up some of the loot on the way, as you'll never have too much loot. Now once you exit through that vent, you're going to go through the last one, which is right over here. And inside this room, there are going to be quite a few enemies, so you'll need to be careful. Once you're in, you're going to then come to the door to the right, and you're going to come over to the side. Now, if you do not have any distraction equipment, such as myself, it might be a little bit harder to get through the spot, because there are going to be, like I said, quite a lot of enemies you'll need to just watch out for. But to make things easier for ourselves, we're just going to use a distraction grenade, and we're going to put it over there. We're going to then come by this pipe, and we're going to crouch down and get over here. Now you're then going to climb over, and like I said, the enemies are pretty dumb in this game. It's pretty easy to go past them. And then once you're through, you're just going to get inside this room. Now this is where the next quest step is going to be, where you'll need to get more information through the computer. But if you do happen to be found, all you can do is just run into this room and crouch behind this desk, and you should be fine. But once you've done that, you can then use the computer, and now you'll need to go through all of the options on the computer. Now once you've gone on the computer, you'll now need to exit the room and go to the next objective, but the enemies will essentially be watching the door. Now the easiest way to get through this is literally just by running past them, as they are quite tough, and you just pretty much want to make it back to that vent where you started from, because as soon as you enter into that vent, you'll lose the enemy attention, as obviously they can't get in here and they don't exactly know where you went. Once you've lost the attentions of the enemy, you're then going to enter back into this room. Now there is going to be a guard at the bottom of the stairs, so I recommend just walking down the stairs, but very slowly. And you're just going to head right past them. Now there are going to be even more guards at the bottom, but like I said again, they're pretty bad at spotting you. So you're just going to come through this way. Now they will come and try and look for you, but all you need to do is just enter into this room on the left, and you're going to then close the door. Now there's an enemy here, but what you essentially want to do is just load up on your health. Now once the enemies have lost your sight, then what you're going to do is come to this area over here. Now once you've stocked up on health, you actually need to enter through the door that's just behind these guards. Like I said, if you don't have any of the distraction equipment, you'll just need to essentially sprint past them. That's the only way you'll actually be able to do it. So because I have something to distract them, I'm definitely going to be using it just to help me out a bit. So you're going to open up this door and just remember to close it. And then you're going to come into this main room right over here. And then you're going to unlock this door with your credentials. And this is the door where we started from. Once you're in here, there is going to be way more enemies. Now, again, we're just going to avoid the enemies by crouching and walking along the right-hand side. And we're just going to make our way slowly, but towards the objective marker. Now, I recommend if you do want to explore the area fully to do so, because there is quite a lot of loot that can really help you out or just give you some extra loot that you may need in the future. Once you made it past the enemies, you're going to come to this room or this elevator, and this is where you'll actually end up finishing the Explore the Vox Relay Station mission. So I'm not going to show you what happens next because this is pretty much the end of it, but it's been Zach from the ConCon channel. I hope this video helps you out, and thanks so much for watching.